Welcome back to a new video. So the summer is slowly ticking away, or quickly ticking away, I guess depending how you look at it. I'm excited to get back into the, not really even a grind, but just back into the routine of being in school. Obviously things will have to be adjusted. I won't be able to record a video at 1 in the morning and it not be devastating into my next day, but these were a couple of interesting sessions. So my left shoulder actually, I want to say flared up. I don't really know what to describe it exactly, but I did a bunch of SOTS press the day before. I did a couple of sets of 5 prior to warm up, and then I did a set of 10 with the bar and then with 30 kilos after the session of a set of 10. And my left shoulder is extremely sore and tight. It was weird because I wouldn't describe it as painful, but kind of like if you had really bad DOMs, kind of more of that feeling. And I wasn't really sure if I was really going to be able to do these exercises today because there was a lot of overhead stuff. But I just kind of worked on it throughout the day and just kind of basically just kept an open mind and just thought, well, I'll just warm up, see if I can do a SOTS press again before I warmed up or before I started doing the snatch push press. And actually was, and strangely, like as I was moving, it just got warmed up and loosened up really nicely, and really by the end it wasn't really feeling bad at all, which kind of, I don't know if enlightened is the best way, but it just kind of showed that I can kind of really push that shoulder and push the mobility and do exercises like the SOTS press that kind of do both, and it not be a detriment, that it's probably as healed as it's ever going to be, and that developing the strength in that bottom position and the mobility in general is just going to be a good thing to do. Another strange thing that happened, I had a zit on my back, which is not the interesting thing, but it was in such a spot, and if you're a male listening to this, I'm sure this has happened to you, where it's in that perfect spot where it's really hard to reach, and it just so happened to be in a spot where I had to use my left arm to reach behind my back, just essentially at my back, and I was really determined to get to the spot where it was, and ended up stretching the bejesus out of my shoulder, and it was, I don't say painful, but I mean I was really stretching it to, it was right on the edge of my range of motion. It's in the perfect spot. But what I kind of figured out with that is that it actually helped in the next session. So when I'm doing snatches and stuff, I felt a lot more warm, and when I warmed up and did a couple of SOTS presses, I was right away able to get into that position. So it's interesting, and sitting here a couple hours after the session where I did all the snatches and stuff, shoulder's feeling good. So it's interesting. It's almost like I'm building muscle, or at least I'm getting DOMs in muscles that are inside the shoulder and not just tearing it up. Hopefully not, but like it's hard to exactly describe, but if you've had DOMs and stuff, you kind of know that feeling. But it's just odd that it's my left shoulder that is getting a lot more sore than my right one. But I will certainly continue to do the SOTS presses. I think that's just good for me to do as part of a warm-up, and it's kind of a measurement tool as well. If I'm warming up at the bar and I have every, my mind's like, we're not doing this today, or we're not pressing, or we can't do it, or it hurts so bad, or whatever, like if there's some sort of restriction, then it's probably a good indicator that I shouldn't be doing an overhead movement of any sort. But if I'm doing it and it's easy to get into the position, it's not painful, I can do reps. Like today, before I did these snatches, I did a set of 10, and it was like it was odd with how easy it was. So it tells me that I can really stretch my shoulder pretty aggressively, and it actually not be a negative. It actually help a little bit. So I do want to keep that in mind, and I've been really good about the stretching and stuff, and massage and all that stuff. And I think the massage is more placebo than anything. I think unfortunately a lot of the recovery modalities, scraping and cupping, dry needling, all that stuff, does little to nothing. I think the benefit of massage even could be argued that it doesn't do as much or do that much for recovery, but I do find, at least anecdotally, that it does feel better if I'm massaging and stretching. You kind of combine those two things. If I'm just massaging, it's not really for me going to do anything for recovery. But if I'm like warming up and I'm massaging something and then I stretch it, go through that range of motion, kind of go back and forth, I feel like that is helpful, and maybe does have some merit. But I think perhaps the biggest benefit, or the biggest thing that massage and stuff like that can do, is kind of that connection to that spot that's sore, as well as you're kind of forcing flexion and extension in different joints and muscles as you're moving it around, or moving muscle around, or pushing it around a little bit. And it just kind of gets you to be intentional with that area, which I think, whether it's yourself working on a tight muscle or something, or a joint or whatever, or if it's someone else doing it, if it's coupled with mobility-based movements, I think that's where the benefit is derived from. At least that's how I have always interpreted it. I'd rather just spend time stretching than going at a. Honestly, I think I've ever in my life had one massage. I was in high school. I had a back spasm with my scapula, and the massage, I felt like it helped, but I think she put biofreeze or something on, and I think my parents even gave me a muscle relaxer, because it was a pretty gnarly knot that I had in my back. But I don't know, I've never really valued that stuff, and I think a hot shower and stretching is probably the best thing you do. Obviously, food and hydration, the kind of the obvious things, but I think a lot of the extra stuff doesn't really do that much. But speaking more of actual lifting, with the snatches, I think they're starting to get into a really nice groove. I'm trying to really focus on as my legs are extending, to extend my back aggressively. So trying the time as a bar gets to hip. I believe I talked about this in the last video as well, but that's been a consistent thing. When I missed the 110 on the second rep of that first double attempt, I could feel that my back, I didn't extend as much. And it's not so much that I'm trying to trying to fully extend my back and fold backwards in a sense, but it's mostly just trying to time that up. So I think what it's doing is getting me to fully extend, because I have all of the strength to do these weights that I'm doing in the snatch in a session like this. So I think it's been really, really good. The bar has been getting really far behind me in a good position, so I think that's just going to help reinforce good positions with my shoulder as well, which is going to help mobility. And I think it's just all kind of rolling in together. So I'm pretty confident with the snatch right now, and with the ease of the lifts and just how the timing is feeling with it. So I'm looking forward to that. I saw the Monday session. I tried 187 for a double, made it for a single, missed it on the second rep, and then the next day tried 180 for a triple. I don't know why I keep doing back-to-back front squat days, but I just warm up, and if it feels good, then I'm just all right, I'm just gonna see what I can do on this day. I'm starting to get a little bit of achiness in my right knee, so we'll see if I need to chill. I know tomorrow I'm going to do some clean jerk stuff, and then Friday is my designated light day with that. But I haven't been doing much cardio this week, so I kind of need to get back into the rhythm of that, and trying to figure out. And I honestly think that in order for me to do that consistently, I'm just going to have to do it in the morning. And if that means during the school year, that a couple times a week I get up a little bit earlier and stay stationary bike for a little bit, then that's fine. So I don't want to be thinking about elevating my heart rate when I'm at school, trying to jog, or I don't know, whatever I do, jump rope, or whatever. I'm trying to do that, just focus on just teaching, obviously, but if I'm moving around, I'm going to be getting a lot of movement in anyway. But elevating the heart rate is kind of nice, and I think I've mentioned this before in other videos as well, but it's not as if my heart rate never gets elevated when I'm training. I do train pretty quickly, so it's not as if I'm waiting 5 minutes between sets. So I do kind of get some of that benefit, some of that cardio benefit from training, but obviously having some extra dedicated time. Just like if you drink water during training, you should drink water outside of it as well. It shouldn't just be only time, especially in a sport like Olympic weightlifting. It's not a difficult cardio sport, so it's not as if I need to be able to run marathons, but it's good to be able to recover a little bit faster between sets and stuff, and just to be potentially even a little bit healthier. But anywho, that's going to be it for this one. So we have two more actual sessions, and then the school year will be starting, and it could be maybe 3, depends on how Friday and Sunday goes as far as training goes. But once next week starts, then the grind will be there, and all my gains will be gone. No, but Most of my progress in my life has been during school year, since most of my life has been during school. So if I didn't get any stronger during school year, then I would still be very, very weak at this point. But anywho, that's it for now. I'll talk to you all the next one. I hope you have a great day. Peace.